All right, let's plug in and turn up the volume on a part of gaming that's absolutely essential, the music. We're going to go on this incredible journey from the most basic arcade sounds all the way to the massive, epic scores we hear in games today. So, let's press start.
Seriously, think about it. You finish a gaming session, and for the rest of the day, you're humming that main theme. Game music just has this incredible power to be unbelievably catchy. But why? And how did it get to be so good? Well, that's exactly what we're about to find out.
To really get how we got here, we've got to go back, like way back to the very beginning, to a time when game sounds were, well, let's just say they were a lot more beep than blockbuster.
So, back in the early days of arcade games, the technology was super limited. We're talking tiny amounts of memory and really slow processors. This meant there was hardly any power left over for audio. So sounds had to be these simple electronic beeps and boops. A perfect example is a game like Space Invaders. That thumping rhythm that gets faster and faster, that's all they could manage. But man, it was so effective at building that tension.
You know, this whole style of music, which was basically born from these technical limits, it actually got its own name, chiptune. Composers had to be incredibly creative. They literally programmed these little sound chips to create melodies from the most basic electronic sounds. And it was that challenge that forced them to write these unforgettable tunes, creating an iconic sound that people still absolutely love today.
So this gives you a quick map of the incredible journey we're on. We're starting with those simple arcade beeps, then moving into the era of super catchy looping melodies on consoles like the NES. After that, we'll see how technology started allowing for more realistic sounds, which led to full-blown movie-style scores. And then finally, the truly interactive music we have in games today.
And when you look at it side by side, the difference is just staggering. Back in the 8-bit days, composers had like maybe 5 sound channels to work with. The entire soundtrack for a game had to be squeezed into just a few kilobytes of space. Now, composers have hundreds of channels, gigabytes of storage, and they can record entire live orchestras. The jump in technology is it's massive.
Because of those crazy limitations, composers back then had to focus on one thing above all else: melody. The music in games like Super Mario Bros. Or The Legend of Zelda was designed to loop over and over and over again, so it had to be super catchy, but it couldn't get annoying. And because of that, these themes pretty much became the identity of the games themselves.
All right, so the next big leap forward wasn't just a small step. It was a full-on revolution that completely changed what a video game could sound like.
The game changer was the compact disc, the CD. All of a sudden, those old storage limits from game cartridges just vanished. CDs could hold so much more data, which meant game audio was about to get a serious upgrade.
This new technology just blew the doors wide open for composers. I mean, for the very first time, games could feature music from actual live orchestras. They could use high-quality audio files, and they could even have full voice acting. Soundtracks went from being simple loops to hours of unique music. It made games feel just as epic as a Hollywood blockbuster.
But modern gaming took it all one giant step further. Music wasn't just playing in the background anymore. It actually started playing with you.
And that brings us to this really cool concept in modern games called adaptive music. It's exactly what it sounds like. Music that literally adapts or changes in real time based on what you are doing in the game. It responds to your actions, to the story, to where you are. It makes everything feel so much more personal and immersive.
Okay, let's walk through a quick example. Imagine you're just exploring a beautiful, peaceful forest, and the music is super calm and relaxing. Then, all of a sudden, an enemy pops out. The music seamlessly fades in a faster beat, maybe some intense drums. Then, you win the battle, and a short, heroic victory theme plays. It makes you feel like you're the star of your own action movie, with a soundtrack that's following your every move.
So how is all this magic actually made? Let's pull back the curtain for a second and take a look at the composer's toolbox to see how these incredible soundscapes get built from the ground up.
Yeah, scoring a game is a huge process. A composer has to start by really deeply understanding the game's story, its mood, its whole vibe. They work side by side with the designers to come up with themes for specific characters and locations. Then they record everything using a mix of digital software and live instruments. And finally, they help the programmers actually put that music into the game engine so it plays at exactly the right moments.
And today, there is a soundtrack for every type of game you can possibly imagine. You've got fast-paced electronic music to get your heart pumping in a racing game. You've got creepy, unsettling sounds that just make your skin crawl in a horror game. You've got relaxing tunes to help you focus on a puzzle, and you've got popular, licensed music that makes you feel like you're right there at a real sporting event. The variety is just endless.
And of course, it's not just about the score. Think about it. The sound of your character's footsteps, the wind whipping through the trees, the pitter-patter of rain. All of these ambient noises and sound effects are what make a virtual world feel truly alive and believable. They all work together with the music to create the complete audio experience.
So, what happens when this music becomes so popular that it actually breaks out of the game itself and enters the real world? Video game music has become this massive cultural force. You've got orchestras all over the world selling out huge concert halls just to perform video game soundtracks. Major award shows now have categories specifically for game music, and you'll find tons of video game playlists on every single major streaming service. It's everywhere.
And that's really the big takeaway here. Game music isn't just for gamers anymore. It's helped prove that video games are a powerful and respected art form, and it connects people from all over the world. It's like this universal language that anyone can appreciate.
This whole journey brings us to a really exciting question. We've come so far, from just simple beeps to these epic, full orchestras. So, what's next? What on earth will the future of game audio sound like?
Well, the future looks absolutely incredible. We could see games with AI that generates a completely unique soundtrack for every single person who plays. With things like VR, true 3D audio is going to make you feel like you're actually inside the world. We might even get music that reacts to our real-life emotions. The line between game audio and reality is just going to keep getting blurrier and blurrier, and that's a future that sounds pretty amazing.